What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and good morning to everybody, because in today's YouTube video, as I prepare everything last minute, we have to talk about the v25.20 update that has officially released to Fortnite earlier today, going through all of the brand new cosmetics, and then breaking down the update in a future video tomorrow. So, with this update, we actually got a pretty decent amount of cosmetics, so that is pretty exciting to see, and of course it starts off with Princess Lexa. Now, something I want to mention is that two of the skins we're going to showcase in this video, being Princess Lexa and Prince Orin, are supposed to be in an upcoming crew pack. Now, in the actual loading screen we have right here, it is labeled as August 2023's crew pack. However, it's uncertain if they're going to do like they've done before with Sylvie, where they release one for 1 month and the other the next month, or if they're going to release both skins in a single month, which would be exciting to actually see them do, but it is something to keep in mind, right? That our next two crew packs, maybe even just one crew pack, have been leaked right here with today's content update. So let's go ahead and go through all the skins, starting off with Bender. We actually have some edit styles for these cosmetics, being the normal Bender, and then of course a golden universe version of Bender. Overall though, some pretty interesting designs that they're using for this whole entire collaboration, and I do think that, it's kind of interesting to see how they're doing it, and having these different, unique designs and everything else. And since we're talking about collaborations, we gotta jump ahead a little bit over to Fry right here, which is another one of the collab skins, which will be available in the item shop right now with the Universe 1 style. Now, if you're wondering what the cost of the cosmetics are, each skin will be 1,500 V-Bucks. However, if you buy the bundle that includes all three skins, so Bender, Fry, and Leela, you will actually be able to get the bundle for 2,800 V-Bucks, saving you quite a bit of money. Now, we have the normal Leela variant, and of course the Universe 1 Leela, and then for anyone else curious, when it comes to the Futurama gear bundle, that will cost you 1,800 V-Bucks. Each pickaxe individually is 800 V-Bucks, the glider is 800 V-Bucks, and then the emote, which we will be showing a little bit later, which is pretty cool, is 500 V-Bucks. So keep that in mind, there are some pretty interesting pricing they're doing for everything, but it is pretty nice for collaboration. Now, there isn't any mini event pass or anything like that, but it still is some cool cosmetics in the item shop, and who knows, maybe we could get even more Futurama stuff in the near future. Next up, we have the Galactic Crossfade skin right here, which is the actual Samsung collaboration skin. Now, this is a skin you can actually earn for free on the 29th and 30th of July, and it is a skin you'll be able to pick up in the item shop at a later time. It has a helmet on and off variant, but it will also have some more variants added in a future update once it releases in the item shop, which will change the galaxy texture that's going on the body. But I do think it's really cool and a super sick skin to see. I mean, honestly, I just love galaxy aesthetic things, so this is a must buy for me once it gets in the item shop, assuming I don't win it from the actual tournament when I do play on my Android device. Next up, we have the Jitter Shock skin, which was actually a survey skin from ages ago. Now, this has the option to enable and disable the effects, which is the little jittering, electricity going on with the skin right here. But it is a pretty interesting design, and even on the little grenades on the back here, they kind of got Kevin runes going on with them. But it's a nice little skin to see them add to the game, and of course, without the whole entire special effects going on, the only real jitter you get is on the face, towards the forehead area. So, it's a pretty cool skin. This will be releasing in the item shop. The only ones that aren't item shop are of course going to be, the level up, well actually level up quest pack is item shop anyways. The only non-item shop things are the two crew pack skins, which we're about to go to right now. So let's start it off with Prince Orin. Prince Orin is one of those skins that is set to be an upcoming Fortnite crew pack. It has a back bling and a pickaxe a part of it. The pickaxe, of course, you're seeing on screen right now, and it is a pretty interesting skin, and you can tell it's a crew pack skin just based on the idle animation alone, because they really go ham when it comes to idle animations, and they really, over do them in some ways. And I don't mean that in a bad way or anything, right? But if you compare it to most of the item shop skins, the idle animations they actually give to crew packs are honestly really cool to see. Now, of course, that isn't the only skin we're getting, because we also have Princess Lexa, aka Lexa Earl Grey, which is another one of those upcoming crew pack skins, and I do think it's interesting to see how the facial animation on this actual idle animation is, right? It gives a lot of personality to the character just from the face alone. If we didn't have anything and it was just the face, right? The way that Lexa is smirking and everything, it just adds a lot to that Princess Lexa characteristic that you wouldn't have normally if it was just, Lexa standing there in the lobby like, hello, it is me, Lexa, Fortnite. I am here to battle royale. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry. But next up, we have the level up quest pack for the season, Vikora, which actually was supposed to be Vikora, like Victoria or whatever, trying to be around that way, but they changed the name very last minute. Now this will release either tonight at Shop Reset or tomorrow at Shop Reset, and we have 4 weeks of quests. Now by doing the quest, you'll be able to have some different variants and stuff here. Firstly, you have the option to turn off the accessory, which is, the little like bunny ear looking thing at the top of the head, or I guess it's like a butterfly bow tie now that I'm looking at it from the back. And then you also have this Umbra variant right here with the option to turn off the accessory as well. However, I'm not really for certain where the accessory would be here because, I'm not really seeing any changes at all. So maybe it's just one of those options that, they tried putting in there to have that extra flair of, like, look, we have this category and this category, but it doesn't really change too much about the skin. It's just to be more user friendly. But this is the final variant you'll be able to unlock after 4 weeks of the quest drop, which will be on August 17th at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And it looks pretty cool, especially for a level up quest pack skin. And I know some of you guys are probably tired of me being like, looks cool to every single skin that releases and everything, but I'm not really judgmental. I think all the cosmetics Fortnite releases are pretty cool and pretty sick, so it's just my personal opinion, and obviously I'm a bad critic when it comes to things, so good thing being a good critic isn't my job. Next up though, we have the Fortnite Talus skin, which is actually infused by kinetic ore. As you can see in the chest, that's actually a kinetic ore right there in the heart, and it is an interesting little design that we got going on here. Now it has an extra variant for a mask, and it just is, a little added piece here that adds a lot more flair to the character. Nothing too crazy there, but I do think that in terms of the design and everything, it really gives me some like volcano vibes and stuff, and since we had leaks before regarding a volcano coming to Fortnite, maybe we could see a volcano in the next season or something, and maybe this could be a little teaser for it, especially since, we have the kinetic ore right here inside what appears to be a volcanic pit. So imagine if kinetic ores have to be formed in some way by volcanoes and stuff like that. Maybe that's the source of how these ores are created. We just kind of got to figure out if this is any relation to the lore or if it's just a cool character design. And then next up, the Fortnite Football Club will be returning as we have a brand new Fortnite football skin right here, which is named Elite Striker Saphiria, and it has, some decent variants. You have yourself the away game variant, and then this variant right here with the option to change the colors. Now there isn't any like numbering or anything on this one. It's just, a pretty simplistic skin, but I do like the FFC set, or the Fortnite Football Club set. I like it because, the cosmetics are pretty simplistic, but they're still really well done. I mean, I'm not for sure if this is supposed to be a real person in the real world. It could be a collaboration thing. I don't think so since it was not encrypted or anything, but, feel free to let me know in the comments down below what you think about this skin and what do you think about the FFC cosmetics returning. Now, this is not set to be a part of that old bundle, and instead is going to be sold on its own with a back bling, so just keep that in mind. You won't be able to buy the old bundle and get this skin at a major discount or anything like that. We have a brand new FNCS Renegade skin, which is a part of the whole entire, FNCS hype for majors and everything. And I know a lot of people are like, why is the FNCS color green? This whole chapter, it's been green. And that is because all of the FNCSs that have been happening recently have been under the FNCS majors. And it was Major 1, Major 2, and Major 3, all for the very end of year event where they meet up in FNCS Denmark and have their final competition there. So that's why the whole entire color scheme has been green, because that has been the color scheme, or the color scheme and everything else for Major 1. Now finally, this is just an NPC you'll be able to find on the island, because Bender you can actually fight and you can get his ray gun, which is pretty interesting. Now if we go over to Backblings here, we have ourselves some pretty interesting stuff here, starting off with Ben Rodriguez, which is Bender's backbling and is reactive to whenever you take damage, I do believe. Yeah, whenever you take damage, there's a little bit of reactivity right there as you're seeing, and it's a pretty nice little backbling to have in the game. Definitely if you're rocking the Bender skin, which I think is really cool. It's like one of those extra added things that add onto the flare. Next up, we have the Celestial Crest backbling, which is one of the crew pack backblings right here to go with Prince or Princess Lexa and Orin, and it's a really nice one to see in the game. We also have the other one, which is Celestial Guide. They're both going under that same and theming and everything else, which I think is, a very aesthetically pleasing set to see, especially since these backblings both work on the skins. You can mix and match to figure out which one you would prefer on which skin. Next up, we have the Crossfades Equalizer backbling, which is actually a part of that Samsung Galaxy skin. This will be sold in the item shop as well in the future, but you can earn it for free at the end of this month. Other than that, though, we have ourselves some more collaboration stuff, being Hypnotoad with a description of all glory to the Hypnotoad. This is what people were thinking was going to be the mind control parasite backbling or whatever, you know, the brain slug or whatever. It appears that that was incorrect, and instead it's actually Hypnotoad, which is pretty interesting. But what the leak did get right was Nibbler being a backbling. I wish they would name stuff like this as the pet option, right? Because, you know, all the pet option really does at the end of the day is give you the option to pet the backbling. And these are creatures at the end of the day, and the last pet we saw was like, what, the Mandalorian's Baby Yoda? You know, it would make sense for them to add more options and make backblings like this labeled as a pet, just so you have a fun little interaction where people can go behind you and pet Nibbler or something like that. Other than that, though, we're going out of the collaboration range and into the more Fortnite original outfits with the Shadow Star backbling, a part of the level up quest pack, which has an option to turn reactivity on and reactivity off. Now, it's reactive based on whenever you get an elimination. As you can see, based on the description and everything else, I think it even mentions it. No, it doesn't mention it, but it is reactive to when you get eliminations, and it will have this little like glowing effect you see right there on the back of it. Now we have the Ball and Play FFC backbling right here with the option to change the colors, and it doesn't really change too much about it, except, you know, the line on the side, the little like triangular dots and everything else. But it is still a nice thing to see, especially for a little backbling to go along with the skin, right? And I think if you like the cleaner themed cosmetics that aren't too like crazy, cell shaded, 50 million effects going on at once, it's in that nicer area where you're able to just kind of vibe with it in the more aesthetically pleasing, you know, minimalistic style. Next up, we have the Jitter Vault backbling, which goes with the Jitter Shock skin. As you can see, the grenades right there, and we have what appears to be some like electric keys on the side of it. That's a pretty interesting bit of lore to the skin or whatever. Now, it would be funny if this actually was hyping up like, oh, the keys are getting redesigned. When you have this skin on or whatever, the keys are that color when you see them in game or something, you know, just some weird little visual thing. Obviously, it doesn't mean anything at all, but it is still a cool little like add-on to see with the skin. We have the Kinesis Core, which has a description of as it sleeps, it dreams, which gives a little bit more lore to the kinetic ore in the island by also calling it Kinesis. And who knows what this really is hyping up, right? If it's even hyping up anything. But other than that, we have a Refer a Friend backbling. This is the Beach Blasted Sharks tank backbling, which is a part of like a brand new, you know, Surf Witch skin and everything else that is going to be releasing in the future, a part of the whole entire Refer a Friend program. But this backbling will be able to be earned for free, and it has a little bit of an interesting design, right? You know, just everything going on with it, the knife design, everything else. It looks pretty aesthetically pleasing, and I mean, for a free reward, hey, I'm not going to complain. Now, I'm not for sure if there's really any good combinations being made with this, but typically with Refer a Friend programs, or I guess, you know, not Refer a Friend, but Reboot a Friend, you do end up getting a skin set added later down the line in a bundle that you'll be able to purchase in the item shop, so it's only a matter of time until we end up figuring out what that bundle actually looks like. We have the FNCS Champions Rucksack backbling, adding on to the glorious green theme that I am personally a major simp for. Thank you, Epic Games, for making Major 1 all green themed, because it gives me tons of things to just want to buy in the item shop and feel good about. And then finally, the Sun Sign backbling, which is a backbling that is very kind of in like an odd territory, because as you can see right here, it has a description of an ancient artifact from a long lost time or whatever, but the actual description of this backbling, you're just, you know, the code name of it is Auric Vine. Now, Auric Vine was originally thought to be the code name of an actual Star Wars collaboration thing, because, you know, we had like Cirrus Vine and everything else, but it appears that this is kind of just on its own territory, and in terms of the Auric Vine code name, the only thing we have in the files right now is this backbling. And we know there's like a skin and other stuff planned, so we really got to figure out if they're only going to sell the backbling, if they scrap the skin, if they're just going to make backbling like a free reward or something, or what's really going on here. But I just thought I'd mention that to you guys because it is kind of like the standalone backbling here that's kind of in its own little vague territory. But on to the pickaxes. We have right here the level up quest pack pickaxe, which is the Woven Shadow Blade, or I guess Woven Shadow Blade. And I should put on my headphones so I can listen along with you guys. So let's go ahead and swing it real quickly here. As you can see, as you swing it, you have a little bit of like a reactive effect here. The more you swing it, the brighter the pickaxe actually ends up glowing. up to a certain point, right? You know, obviously once you hit it a few times, it's going to be stuck at that max glow. And then if we sit here and wait, as you don't use the pickaxe, the glow slowly fades back down to its non-glow variant. And I think that's a really nice little effect to have with the thing. Now, it would be interesting to see if later down the line they add an edit style to turn off the reactivity like they have with other items in the game, or if they decide, meh, you know what, it's fine as it is. Next up, we have another kinetic themed weapon, being the Core Breaker Scythe, which is an ancient weapon from a long forgotten kingdom. If we go ahead, I almost clicked archive, whoopsie. But if we go ahead and hit it here, you can see that we have a little bit of like a glow effect and everything else going on here. You have the whole entire kinetic theme and everything happening with a pickaxe, and it is in that more kinetic themed area, which is interesting to see a whole entire set being themed around kinetic ore, when the whole entire chapter has been themed around it as well, right? So who knows if it relates to anything with the storyline or whatever else. Next up, we have the giant nutcracker pickaxe, a part of the Futurama collaboration. We can swing it for you real quickly here. You know, it's just a giant nutcracker. There's really not too much to say about it. If you're using the skins, it's pretty cool, but if you're trying to mix and match it with some of the other, you know, cel-shaded skins, maybe you can find a good combo, but I'm not, you know, too certain on how well this will fit into every other combo in the game. We have right here the Jolt Carver pickaxe with an edit style to turn the FX on and off. Well, the effects are just, you know, like the electric little like shockwaves going out and everything else. If we swing it here, you can see a nice little electric effect going on right there at the very end, and I think that's really cool. Now, if we turn the effects off, is it still going to have like the little jolt when it gets swung? It does. So even with the effects off, you still have a little bit of like a jolt animation on it. So that does still kind of give you some information about how it works. Next up, we have the Prince Orin's polearm pickaxe with a description of Defend Your Kingdom. The swing animation can be seen right here. You know, it's just a little bit of like the normal polearm, I guess like staff little swing animation that we've seen recently, just being there once again. We have the solid gold fiddle pickaxe right here, which is just a violin that you can swing and hit everything with. Now, I know in the past instruments have broken when you swung them a lot. However, in this case, it does not appear like it breaks at all. And instead, you know, it just is a pretty strong, solid violin. I mean, you know, it makes sense based on the description being solid gold fiddle. There's no way you can really damage solid gold that easily. We have the Silvered Sabers right here for Princess Lexa, which has an edit style to make it dual weld or single weld. And look at the hit animation, like look at the little hit particle effects at the end. I think that is insanely sick to see. And then of course we have this version right here with the same exact little particle hit animation. It looks a little bit larger this time around, and I'll go ahead and move this around so you can kind of see how it affects it if you have it in different angles or whatnot. Always faces the camera, but it looks really cool in my opinion. I mean it, right? Like just the little head animation. I think pickaxes with these unique animations just add a lot more flair to it, or I guess, you know, unique particle effects. We have the spin back slicer pickaxe right here, which is a part of the Samsung Galaxy set. As you can see here, it has a whole entire like BPM theme because the set is themed around music a lot. So that is something to keep in mind. You know, it's a very musical themed Galaxy set. We have the Starfall pickaxe, which is another Rebootifriend, or I guess, Rebootifriend. It's another Rebootifriend pickaxe you'll be able to earn for free, and it's another reskinned pickaxe, but it has a very cool design going on with it. I mean, you got a little smiley face right there in the middle of it. Look at it. Who doesn't like a friendly little pickaxe looking at you? Now, next up, we have the Unbendable Girder pickaxe. It's literally just a steel beam. And it's Bender's pickaxe. I don't really think I need to say anything else about it. Let's hear the hit animation. Makes sense. It's a giant steel beam that you're actually hitting stuff with, right? So it makes sense that this is how it's going to work, and I think it's very cool to see that as a pickaxe in the game. We have the Cleat Spike Crusher pickaxe, which is of course a part of the FFC stuff, and it doesn't actually change hit colors with the actual color changes, but you do have a lot of color options here, so I could see this being built into a lot of combos, just because of how it's one of those more simplistic pickaxes with a lot of different color options to mix and match with other cosmetics you have in the game. And then finally, the Starjet pickaxe, a part of the FNCS, you know, Community Cup set or whatever for the season. You can see the little green head animation right there. I love me some green cosmetics, and it even has some like iridescent, you know, pearlescent type stuff going on the top and bottom, and kind of, you know, in between the lines in the middle. But that is the pickaxes right there. For gliders, we only have the Planet Express ship, which makes sense for the collaboration. Now, for emotes, oh boy, do we have some interesting things. So firstly, FNCS emote right there. We have some sprays right here. This one you can earn for free from the Galaxy Cup. This is another Rebootifriend Cup reward. Well, not Cup reward, but, you know, quest reward. This is a FNCS reward. And then we have 3 emotes. I think we got to start it off with the Zoidberg Scuttle. Look at it. We didn't get Zoidberg in the game. We can't be Deity Nogla if anyone watches Vanos Gaming in the past or whatever else. But we have Zoidberg's hands at least, and a very funny emote. I was not expecting the whoa, 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 but it's a great addition, and I'm excited to pick this up and use it in the game. Especially since it's traversal. I'm just going to be running the whole entire map using this. I'm not even sorry for any of my friends I annoyed with it, but that is how it's going to go. Now, before we talk about this emote right here, we have a free Rocket League Little Octane Flames emote planned to release very soon, which has an interesting little design on it. It's basically the exact same as before. Now, it plays the same song as the original Little Octane emote, but I have it muted because it's actually marked as copyrighted audio. So I don't want to get a DMCA takedown or anything on this video, but of course you can kind of understand the boom boom. You know what I'm talking about. You can expect the music to be there with the actual emote when it releases. And then we have the BPM breakdown emote. This is a very cool emote. It is like an amazing emote. This is a part of the Samsung Galaxy X Fortnite collaboration, a part with that skin set and everything else. But this emote honestly is my absolute favorite one I've seen from Epic Games in a long time, because it just, the way that it goes on for so long, the way the actual sounds and everything works, it feels like such an amazing creative emote that I can see myself using when just hanging out on creative maps and everything else. And who knows what it really could be used for, right? I mean, there's just a lot of options available to this, and I can see, based on the animation and everything else you got going on, that it ends up being a super nice emote for when you're doing photography, based on, not even just like the hands in the air, but just kind of like the way your character moves around in general, like swiping everything, DJing and everything else, and even like the little dance in the middle where you have your hands and jazz handsing everywhere. It just, I honestly am a simp for the emote, okay? I'm down bad for the emote, and I'm not afraid to say it. I know I'm joking with everything here. You can't actually be down bad for an emote, but I thought it'd be a little bit of a funny little haha to add in here. But this emote will be earnable for free on July 29th and 30th from the Cubs, of course, and it will be available in the item shop at a later date, so keep that in mind. Everyone will be able to get this. It's not a Samsung Galaxy exclusive at all. And then finally, after, I give you guys a few more seconds to listen to the loop and everything, we got to talk about the wraps and the loading screen. So firstly, we have the Crossfades Galaxy wrap right here, which has a nice little star little animation whenever you actually shoot. The star glows and everything else. We have a free wrap, a part of the whole entire Reboot a Friend program. You got a little cloud animation at the very front there. We have ourselves another wrap. This one is actually a part of the Level Up Quest Pack, with the little animation being a glow on the actual line in the middle, and then the star having a little bit of like a fog effect going on with it. We have the Void Core wrap right here, which goes back to the whole kinetic set and everything else, with a glow whenever you actually shoot it, which makes sense. They're doing a lot of the glow theme stuff. And then we have another FNCS wrap called the Good to Go wrap. Pretty simple wrap, pretty clean, and I will be picking it up because it's got green in it. And with that said, there's only one thing left for this video, and that is this FNCS loading screen right here being Lush Moves with art by Chris B. Murray. As you can see right here, it is a pretty interesting design. You got some butterflies like over there on the left. You got like a normal looking butterfly. You have some of the wasp or hornets over there on the right side, and of course the characters are on grind vines. Now I just think that this loading screen is one of those sick loading screens that it's very nice to see as a free reward from watching the FNCS. But what you can't notice, which I think is a little nice touch from the artist, is right above my webcam here, the artist has their initials engraved in the wood, which is something that you've seen as a trope before multiple times, where characters will be like a heart in the wood with first initial of one person's name, first initial of another person's name. So it's nice to see that the artist's watermark is matching that theme by being a subtle little addition in the wood, and I thought that was just a nice little attention to detail. Now of course you've already seen the Royal Destiny loading screen, but here it is once again. You can see a rare chest on the top right. Isn't that insane? And what appears to be them in the actual Citadel Kingdom and everything else, going against some type of foe that has similar armoring on the shoulders if you look at the actual shadow on the ground. So maybe that's hinting at a third crew pack character coming further down the line, or maybe even a character related to everything else, very lore related character or whatnot. But with that said, that has been the v25.20 update. They went ham on cosmetics this update, and I think that they honestly did an amazing job. So with that said, if you champs and champions enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing and support the content I create, and I'll catch you guys next time with another video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and peace out.